Hello students. In previous video, we have started the chapter Microbes in Human Welfare. In that we have learned all different kind of microorganisms which are useful in daily life for producing different kind of food products like curd making, then bakery products, then like idli dosa making. So different kind of microorganisms are helpful in different kind of aspects. They are also made use in fermentation process. So beverages are prepared from their activity. Then antibiotics are also synthesized. Some of the enzymes are also extracted from different kind of fungi and bacteria which are having different importance in human life. We have also learned about sewage treatment. Sewage means wastewater. So whatever domestic and industrial waste is water is collected, that water before adding into the river and the lakes, the good water reservoir, it has to undergo a treatment so that the pollution or polluted matter, organic matter of the water or the wastewater should be separated, and then non-polluted and less harmful water will be introduced into the rivers and lakes, so that the rivers and lakes should not have any impact. In that we have also learned about the BOD, that is biochemical oxygen demand. It is amount of oxygen required to oxidize the total organic matter by bacteria in 1 liter of water. So the amount of BOD is very necessary. When we calculate the BOD of the water, it decides the water is polluted or no. Means when the water is polluted, BOD of that water is more, and when water is less polluted, the BOD of that water is less. So BOD measures the organic matter present in the water. Greater the BOD, the wastewater of the wastewater, more it is more polluted potential. The water has more polluting potential when the BOD is more. Next is biogas plant. Biogas is a mixture of gases containing methane, CH4, carbon dioxide, CO2 and hydrogen gases produced by microbial activity. It is used as a fuel. So on the slide a picture shows the two different type of biogas plants where the biogas is produced. Diagrammatically, if you see, the biogas has inlet, outlet and biogas collection tank at the center it is present. So structure of biogas plant has, the biogas plant consists of a concrete tank in which bio waste are collected and slurry of the dung is fed. So slurry of the dung will be added. A floating cover is placed over the slurry which keeps on rising as the gas is produced in the tank due to microbial, that is methanogen activity. The biogas plant has an gas outlet which is connected to a pipe to supply biogas to house. Used slurry is removed through the another outlet and may be used as a fertilizers. The biogas thus produced is used for cooking and lighting. So by making enlarge this image, you will have an idea how the slurry is added through the inlet and to the main bioreactor tank. On the top of it, biogas collection tank is fitted or floating, which is responsible to show or indicating the increased amount of gas when it goes up. And it has partition from where inlet connected all the slurry into one part, and then it passes to the other part, and in that the methanogenic bacteria will be there. They will be showing anaerobic respiration, or their activity will be responsible for releasing the methane gas, and which is responsible to create maximum gas over there. The outlet shows the collection of slurry. Remaining slurry will be collected and that will be utilized for the purpose of using in the field, farm fields. So in detail how biogas works or biogas plants are working through a video we are going to see.
For thousands of years, since the time of ancient Egypt, yeast has been used for baking and fermentation. With time, it was observed that dough rose during the bread-making process due to the exhalation of carbon dioxide by yeast. When bread is baked, the carbon dioxide escapes, leaving a porous and light bread. Similarly, during fermentation, to prepare beverages and cheese, the main gas that yeasts produce is carbon dioxide. It is therefore evident that microbes produce gases during their growth and metabolism. Even so, different microbes produce different gases depending on the organic substrates they utilize. For example, anaerobic bacteria that grow on organic matter, such as cellulose, produce copious amounts of methane along with carbon dioxide and hydrogen gases. Due to this reason, these bacteria are collectively known as methanogens. Did you know that explorers have found methanogens even in extreme climates such as under the ice in Greenland and in the hot, dry desert of Utah in the United States? Cattle also have methanogenic bacteria called Methanobacterium present inside the rumen. This helps them digest the cellulose present in the grass they feed on. This explains why cattle dung, also locally called gobar, is rich methanobacterium. This dung or gobar is used to generate biogas, also known as gobar gas, in a biogas plant. In India, two types of biogas plants are used, the fixed dome type and the floating gas holder type. In the fixed dome type, the dome is made of concrete and is fixed, whereas in the floating gas holder type, the lid is made of stainless steel and is movable. The floating gas holder type of biogas plant is covered with a floating lid so that it can freely rise when microbial activity by methanogens produces gas inside the biogas plant. A biogas plant usually consists of a concrete tank that is 10 to 15 feet deep, where slurry of dung and other biowastes like plant and animal remains is placed. In fact, the bio-wastes and cattle dung in the slurry are first soaked in water and mixed in the mixing tank before they are allowed into the main tank, so that they provide the bacteria a suitable medium to grow. Methanobacterium and other anaerobic bacteria present in the slurry decompose it to release a mixture of methane, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen. This mixture of gases is also known as biogas. Moreover, the lid also collects the gas generated, which is allowed to flow through the outlet pipe, while the overflow tank collects the excess gas released. The biogas generated reaches nearby houses via an outlet pipe. Where it is used for cooking and lighting. The remaining exhausted slurry can be used as fertilizer. Did you know that the technology of biogas production was developed in India by the Indian Agricultural Research Institute or IARI, and the Khadi and Village Industries Commission, or KVIC, India needs more such biogas plants to have an alternative energy source for LPG, since biogas is a low-cost fuel that burns without emitting smoke. As cattle dung is available in abundance in rural areas, many more biogas plants are being set up in our villages. However, even in cities like Pune, there are some commendable instances of lighting streetlights with biogas. Biogas can also be used to run electric engines such as pumps, as it causes less air pollution. Therefore, whether a village or city, establishing a biogas plant is an effective way to generate energy from wastes, and this has been made possible by microbial activity.
Now, microbes in biocontrol. There are different kind of microorganisms which are used in biocontrol. That means whatever pesticides, insecticides are there, they are made by making use of chemicals are prepared. So if we make continuous use of that chemicals to avoid the insect based infection, it will give the instant result, but it will cause the harm to the environment, to the soil and to the air also. So to avoid this, some of the microorganisms we can use for biocontrol as biocontrol. So in that Bacillus thuringiensis, it is in short called BT, used to control caterpillars. Dried spores are mixed with the water and sprayed on the plant. These are eaten by the insect larvae. In the gut of larvae, the toxin released kills the larvae. So these caterpillar infections will be avoided with the help of Bacillus thuringiensis. These are the making use of spores of it added into the water and spraying on the plant. Next is Trichoderma, a free living fungus used to control several plant pathogens. So it is also one of the fungus helping in several plant pathogen. Next is baculoviruses are pathogen that attack insect and other arthropods. The majority of baculoviruses belongs to the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. These viruses are species specific, means for the particular species only they are infectious. Other species they do not cause harm. So they are species specific, narrow spectrum insecticidal application. So they are particular having attack on the particular species. They have no negative impact on the plant, mammals, bird, fish, etc. This is very useful in Integrated Pest Management Program, that is IPM. Next is microbes helps in enriching the soil nutrients, because again when we make use of chemical fertilizers, they will enrich the soil very fast, but they will cause harm to other microorganism, useful microorganism, soil-borne microorganism present in the soil, and their death will occur. So to avoid this, there are some microorganisms which will enrich the soil nutrients, so that we don't need to make use of artificial or the chemical fertilizers. Microbes helps in enriching the soil nutrient are called biofertilizers. Rhizobium bacteria found in the root nodules of the leguminous plant, which is fixing the free atmospheric nitrogen into or in the form of nitrate. It is used by the plant as nutrient, and which is the huge source of nitrogen for the growth and development of plant. Azospirillum and Azotobacter bacteria fix atmospheric nitrogen and increasing nitrogen content of the soil, which is again helping for the plants for growth, for better growth and development. Next is mycorrhiza fungi symbiotically associate with the root of many plants. It improves the phosphorus to the plant. It provides the phosphorus to the plant from the soil. So it makes availability of the phosphorus for the plant and growth and development. It is very necessary. It make the plant resistant to the root-borne pathogen also, and increase the tolerance to salinity and drought. So salinity means when the water is saline, salty water. In that situation also, and drought situation means lack of water in the ground. In both the situation, these are helping plants to remain alive and face the situation and remain alive. Cyanobacteria are autotrophic microbes widely distributed in aquatic and terrestrial habitat, many of which fix atmospheric nitrogen and increase soil fertility. In them, example Anabaena, nostoc and oscillatoria. These are the example of the cyanobacteria, and which are the autotrophic microorganisms, which are helping aquatic and terrestrial plants for fixing nitrogen and increasing the soil fertility. So these are the important points of this chapter. This way we have completed the chapter. In next video we will meet with next chapter. Thank you so much.